Hello and welcome to my review of the border model Nashorn, potentially beautiful kit with terrible instructions. I have not seen any review that really solved that problem or even mentioned them, most of them, so I'll try to help as many people as I can. First and foremost, I don't claim to be a military historian, I don't have access to schematics or like to a huge library. I had 2 books and whatever I found online. And second, due to the nature of production and several things, if you have a picture that mixes early, late features, whatever you find, and you wanna follow said picture, just go ahead. You can leave the video, there's nothing interesting here for you, maybe the interior, but that's pretty much it. So let's get down to business. First I wanna mention that border model chose to make this like vertical orientation, which is a bit awkward to flip around, but I guess it's kinda useful while you're building. Off to the first page. I made annotations so you can just look at them and see quickly what I'm talking about. First, they give you 2 options. They don't mention anywhere what version are you making. It's just if you follow these instructions, you can at best make a very early vehicle. At worst, you're gonna make something very weird, like that never could leave the factory floor. It's like impossible, some of the characteristics. Nevertheless, here you can choose if you wanna do a Hornisse, which is what was called early, or a vehicle until March of 43. Choose the 8-hole 1 sprocket. If not, like for example a Nashorn or a main production one, this one, which is from the Panzer III of N or M, I don't remember, this one. Nothing here. Here, the mufflers. This one is for very early samples, this one is for early late-ish samples. I couldn't find a time frame specifically, but if you can have a reference, good. If not, just think this very early, this one is later, or whatever you like the most. Now, the first and probably one of the most mixed up things in this kit, if you follow the instructions, you can make a very early one, because it's also missing the towing hooks, which I couldn't find exactly when, but there's some pictures of very early samples without them, like this, like they tell you to build just flat. There's also early ones with a muffler and these hooks. If you want to do a main production one, here are all the list of, and this is how it should look. There is the tow hooks, the step for the crew, and the spare wheel holders. Not the photo edge ones, those are the wrong shape. This is for the front of the vehicle, these ones are plastic pieces, okay? This lamp is also the convoy light, I think it's called. It's present in both, like on this side, okay? These boxes and mod flaps were only present on very early samples, like Hornisse. The mod flaps were removed pretty early in production. This is present on all of them, it's like an armor plate for the exhaust. If you choose to do a main production one, the parts are mentioned in the previous step. The escape is just like this. Here, before August 43, you have to do 2 holes here, if not leave it alone. Now in this step of the interior, there's the main difference. Here you can see this part, and this part it's only for the Hornisse, early production vehicles. It's the bridge lock lock. This one is the release for the Nashorn. You'll see, I'll mention it later, where it's very obvious when you see the barrel lock. But you can put both, either this one or this one, whatever age you're building. Here, this was a bit confusing to research, but I could come to the conclusion that very early samples like Hornisse or very early production ones had this one that comes here in the corner. If you are building a Nashorn or latest production one, use the big one on both sides. I found a picture of one, that a late production vehicle that still had these parts, like a hole that holds this part of the bracket. It's not a common feature, and I would say you can safely skip this part if you're building a Nashorn. This one should be the most common one, the flat one, which is the only part that is not included in the kit. You could sand this one, but if you have a dragon kit from the Nashorn or Hornisse, there's like I have one, and you can see that you have like 3 of these spare ones. If not, you can just sand it or just use it, but you should know that this one is the most common one, the flat one. Now, this is only for Hornisse, early vehicles, as previously mentioned, and if you want to narrow it down very much, there's this interesting data that from July to August of 43, the vehicles left the factory only with the base, without the light, only the base. If you can narrow it down that much, it's an interesting fact. If not, just leave it be or put it on, depending on if you want to do a Hornisse or a Nashorn. This part doesn't really matter too much, but here you can see there was an attempt to make like an early version and a late made production one. I call them Hornisse and Nashorn for easier, okay? This one, you can see it's straight, there shouldn't be this lever, and in case of a Nashorn, the lever and the cable to pull, it's here and there's a hole. This is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. This could be, but it's not very common, and this is wrong. The gun assembly, this was introduced in May 43, so very early in production. There is samples without it. This is not a common feature, it was present very early on, or in vehicles from the 655 Battalion for sure. Now for the barrel clamp, which might be one of the most distinctive features outside to differentiate between early and late. This is the Hornisse type, it's like a Hummel type of clamp, and this is a Nashorn one, the main production one I could say. It's missing a cable here that you can make from a little wire or some copper wire. This part is attached to the barrel, and if you are up to it, there's missing here a little spring that you can do with some very fine copper wire. That basically just when they pull the cable, there's a spring loaded here. This part and another one stayed in the barrel, and this just fell down, ready to fire. This one the crew had to go up, take out this, so they were exposed to fire, which is fine if you have an artillery. In an anti-tank weapon so close to the front line, it was very unfortunate decision. Here you can see the assembly. This is 2 parts. This would be for one if you want to do it on firing position. This just goes down. This, as previously mentioned, no, and other details. Same here. This collapses like this. Let's just like fold on each other. This, it's only mentioned here. It only appears literally on this image. This is part of the command radio, the electrical base. The parts are included, they are on a sprue, I'll show them later. It's not mentioned everywhere, but if you want, you can do a Hornisse or a Nashorn command version also out of this box. All the pieces are there. Here you can see the command options, so to speak. This is the Fungerad 8, pardon my German. There is the receiver, which is the small one, and the transmitter, which is the bigger one. Early samples, like say a command Hornisse, they had their antenna base here on top. Later versions, they had the cable to the front, like the antenna base goes here. I'm not sure, I couldn't say for sure, if normal vehicles also had the receiver of the Fungerad 8, so basically only the small one. But I would safely say that the Germans weren't stupid enough to waste so much radio equipment in common vehicles, as this already had one here, Fungerad 5 I think. So this is the second part, like this is antenna base, you can use it on here. This part is included, this photo etch. This is back. Nothing here to mention, nothing here to mention. Here, if you chose to put the radio in, this space is occupied by the radio. instead of the third MP40. Also, I read in a review that some Nashorns didn't have these two NG34 holders, that only some battalion used them. I couldn't find any reference to this outside of that review. Might be wrong, might be right, but I think it's a bit silly not to be able to cover the whole vehicle. So I would safely put both. This is an early feature. If you want to make it close, this is the part. No need to build all this. And then here they mentioned if you want to do it open. I don't know why they separated so much. They even closed it down, but it doesn't matter. This is like folded on itself, so basically you can only see one of these. And this is pretty much the vehicle finished. Yeah. Now for the most interesting part, they include 3 color profiles. This one is the cover one. It's very cool. I think I'm gonna do this one. This battalion had very interesting camouflages. There's a reference picture here of one of them. This one. This also has a very funny picture that it fell from a bridge. It's very tempting to do a diorama, to be honest, about that. Everything else is like very well done. Like, I don't know why they didn't bother on the instructions. Here is everything is correct. Like, literally on the image you can see like this. Everything is fine, like everything. Except this, the barrel lock. Another thing, they mention here Reseda. I think it's wrong. Reseda is like this color. It's like very late war, not very common stuff. This one is also a Nashorn. This is like the poster boy. It's like Pomer, I think Tamiya and Dragon probably have. This battalion had old German regions names and animals, I think. Like there's a puma one, a buffalo, etc. Now there's some pictures with them on with this bundle of extra armor on ditching beams on the front. Because it's only front view, it's hard to tell if this specific vehicle had them, and you know things can change by the year, the month, the week, the hour. Like, it's an interesting option. Now, if you want to do this vehicle, like exactly, like there's several pictures of this one, like exactly like it was taken. They had a huge wooden box here, occupies all this. This bender part, it was bent. Not broken, but like very mangled. Here, there was a rod wheel. I made like a little drawing. It's not clear if the jack is like this. It looks like it's like to the side, like outside its bracket. Or maybe there's enough clearance for both to fit. I don't think so. Also, the wheel is not against the armor. It's against the armor of the driver, like in parallel. Now, this is a Hornisse. It has all the early type characteristics, like the wheel, the release, the muffler, etc. Now, specifically for this picture, at that moment, it was on a train, by the way. A very tall storage box. There is one of the spare wheels here. And most importantly, extra armor, like a Dorito shape here, on the cheek, not on the round part of the gun. Just a little placard here you can put, and some rivet, and it's riveted. Also, well, here you can see the whole part. It should look like something on these lines. So this is pretty much the whole thing, the main points, and from now on you can stop the video. I'm just gonna ramble a little bit, so thanks for watching it until here, and I hope I made it somewhat clear. And for those who stay, let's talk about the kit a bit more. I would like to say that I'm very impressed by the kit itself. Like, honestly, it's like very well done, the details, the molds are very good. There's very little ejector marks, mold seams, like honestly, they went through a lot of effort in this kit, and then they dropped the ball in instructions. Like, absolutely horrible. Like what is this? Optional. What? Yeah, anyway. I won't review the sprues. Like, if you want to see pictures of them, I recommend you to go to ScaleMates, and there's a Chinese site that they have like excellent pictures, or any other video review. Like, for that, you can go there. I just want to mention, I'll show you the parts. Like, for example, this is the early type wheel. Pardon the plastic, but I don't intend to build it like, well, maybe soonish, but not yet. I don't see the point in taking them out. You can see that on this big flat part, it's like super thin, or quite thin. And there's no ejector nuts. Like, engineering wise, they did a very nice job, honestly. Like, border model, like, they did a really good job here. Now, for the radio parts, this is for the electric. This is screw number E. This is the electric parts, this, and this one. This is for the Funkgerät 8 radio, the command version. And here are the radios, the receiver and the transmitter. I think some of them only had the receiver. I'm not sure, up to you. Here, maybe all nations had this. I couldn't find a conclusive evidence of this. I'm sure this was not in all of them. Like, Germans might be wasteful in some stuff, but not that much. Like, it's useless to have this radio equipment on all vehicles. This is the Nashorn type release, and these are the early type pipes, and there is the late type ones in another sprue. So everything, absolutely anything except the driver cover, it's included here. I don't know why they didn't mention, or they took more care on showing this. The instructions, I really like they do this little history thing that they do. It's fun and interesting to give you an idea in general. I like the reference pictures. None of them are about the included colorways. I don't know why they didn't include more. Like, their Panzer Force, they have like a lot of options, and honestly they could have done, I don't know, like 4 at least, or 8, I don't know. This one, it's similar to the Pomer one. This is Puma. I think the different, how is this called in English, but not sections, like the first one, the second, and the third one. One was animals, one was like places of Germany or areas of Germany, and the other one I don't remember. Well, it doesn't matter. You have some examples here. This one is for the 80th Battalion. They had very cool camouflages. Like, honestly, if you want to do something cool, look about these ones. This one is in Italy, and this one is not sure, but you can get also some. If you don't want to do the ones included, just go along these lines. There is also a crew included. I think this is from the Flag 36-37 they did. I think, I'm not sure. I think it's from them. The equipment is fine except the shells. As you can see here, they're like way too small. They include these brass ones. You can see here, they're way too small. You can just replace them with this one or the plastic ones from the kit. Note that the brass ones, they are missing the detail on the base. You can probably use photo etch one from aftermarket, or just put them in the rack so you cannot see it, or on their hands, you cannot see it anyway. But if you want to show the bot, you need to add some markings here. They also include a full metal barrel, the whole piece, which is honestly very well done, very nice inclusion. And honestly, there was a lot of effort into this kit. Like, the only problem I see is the instructions. Like, terrible. Like, I keep repeating this, but it was such a huge disappointment. Like, here for example, the photo etch part, you can see the radio, the command radio cover part, holders, like everything. Any option you can think, I think you can build it perfectly. I don't know, it's just those things that just pisses you off, that all the effort only to drop the ball in at the end. Speaking of this, well, slightly related, I have Dragon's re-release. I think this is 2023 version. Well, they don't say what it is, but it's a Nashorn, Hornisse officially here. Yeah, it's updated, but you can also build a Nashorn if you follow this QR code. I put the link down out of curiosity, but they at least say in it says what it is in the tin. As I wanted to build just the Italy one, it's fine, because the instructions, I'm gonna show them. Like if you just buy this and open the box, they only show you how to build the Hornisse, the early variant. I believe there's everything here also to make late versions, and probably a command one, probably, I'm not sure. I didn't take too much attention because I wanted to build this one in Italy, and the instructions already tell me how to do it, so not a huge problem. So for the first time in anyone's life, Dragon made things easier in the instructions for people. Also the instructions on border model, they don't tell you how to build the crew. I don't think it's very hard, but thing to note. They only have 2 color marks here. There's only 2 types of decals. The PDF one, well, it's not the PDF, it's the Chinese side one from the QR that they show you how to build the, I think it's a Nashorn and a command version or something like that. They don't include the decals though, so I need to either print them yourself or try to source them somehow. I'm not sure why they didn't include everything. It's not a huge drama, like for example, this one just says Nashorn and you don't exactly clear what you can build if you follow this. This one just does what it does, so I'm not terribly upset with Dragon here. I probably gonna build one of these 2 soon on the channel. Maybe I should include the building part, but I'm still thinking what to do with this one. Probably this colorway, either in combat or when it fell into the river. And this one I really like this illustration too. Well, both are very beautiful illustrations, by the way. Like sometimes I just buy things because I like the box. I'm a simple man. I wanna like this one. Let me show you. It's such a beautiful illustration, and I really like this. Like I guess this is the valley of the Po River fighting. I really like this. I wanna do wanna get more into dioramas. I don't have enough space or the materials for dioramas, but I really want to. I think it's like a very cool thing to look at, 360, some context to the vehicle, like something like in this image I wanna plan to do. So probably I'm gonna build the Dragon one first, probably. And this one, maybe I'll build them together, but I still need to think what to do with him. And also related to the channel, you're probably gonna be seeing this very soon. I also bought it in AliExpress because it was on sale, and it was very hard to pass. Like both this one costed me 36 euros to the door. This one 41, 42, I don't remember. They were very fast shipping, by the way. Also, this was very nice to build. Well, you'll see in the video. I didn't film the building because it's like very straightforward. A lot of putting, by the way. I didn't want to exaggerate the pictures. The sample from Samur Museum, you can see it's cast, but it's not like those exaggerated modeler type of casting that looks like it's like made with a pickaxe almost from stone. Some small details here and there, like some here, but pretty much done. It was pretty fun kit, honestly. I almost got to this tank in Wall of Tanks, by the way. So I'm thinking what to paint it with. Well, you can see some of the colors. I was planning of using this model here. I was looking around 50s camouflage. I didn't find anything too interesting. It was a period that everything was green, basically. But I don't know, I found some interesting things to do. Not period correct, this was not on any measure of my production even come close. So I can do whatever I want with it, to be honest. And yeah, that's pretty much it with this one. They also have the Puma, and I need to finish building the Panzer IV to go with this. I also want to do a little diorama of Normandy. This one had some troubles here and the parts were deformed. I'll talk about it in the video. This is just a little ramble at the end. And I wanna finish this one also soon. I need to solve this problem here. But I think I'm just gonna go first with this one. Make a video. Should see this one first. Like probably this is late summer coming. Well, anyway, I'm rambling a bit here at the end. Thank you for watching. If you watched it until the end, congratulations. If you made it this far, I'm not very used to record myself on live or with voice. So yeah, it's a bit lacking probably the video. But well, practice makes perfection. So probably you're gonna see this soon, and that's pretty much it I wanted to say. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.